4 US states are taking Meta to court, accusing the tech giant of deliberately making Facebook and Instagram addictive for children. California, Colorado, Kentucky and New Jersey are seeking billions of dollars in damages as well as changes to the platforms. The landmark trial begins on Wednesday in California, with the states also accusing Meta of collecting data from children under 13 without parental consent. Well, Vincent Joralemon is the director of the Life Sciences Law and Policy Centre at UC Berkeley. Thanks so much for coming on the programme. So is this a flashpoint for the social media industry?
Absolutely. This is one of many trials. There were already 2 trials earlier on this year, one in the state of New Mexico, where their attorney general sued and got close to $1 billion in settlement. Another with one person, the first of what is going to potentially be thousands of individual plaintiffs, and that person got $6 million. This is a separate trial similar to what New Mexico had tried, and Meta has tied the potential damages at $1.4 trillion. So this could be a huge deal.
I know you've compared this to the tobacco lawsuits of the 1990s. What are the similarities?
In the United States, we're very concerned with information asymmetries. So you can generally sell people and sell the public things that are quite dangerous, so long as the public knows that those things are dangerous. But one of the things that came up in the tobacco industry was that the tobacco industry knew something about tobacco, knew that it was more dangerous and more addictive than the public knew, and they withheld that information, and their public communications were quite different. That same argument is being used right now for Meta, saying Meta knew potential harms, especially harms to minors, but did not communicate those to the market. And that information asymmetry is kind of a key element of what is at trial here this week.
And something that big tech might say is that parents are abdicating responsibility here. Or is it unrealistic to expect these tech giants to police platforms designed to keep children engaged?
I think it'll be a really meaningful argument for Meta to make. On one side, they certainly have designed their platforms to be engaging. It's a way to keep people on and a way for them to make more money. The question is, did they cross some sort of threshold that is unacceptable to the public? One important argument that Meta is going to bring up is, sure, there are some people on the far end of the bell curve that are using these way too much and have all these problematic effects. But in shutting down access for those people, would we also preclude a lot of really beneficial elements of these social media tools? Social media can be a really helpful outlet for a lot of teens, especially those in relatively isolated environments or relatively kind of regressive environments for themselves. These can be positive outlets. So I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not Meta can kind of grind that crack.
Now, if Meta loses, could this force a fundamental change in the way the company does business, in the way other tech giants do business?
Totally. So one thing is the potential damages, but also what could happen in American courts is what we call an injunction, where a court could force the company to change something about the way that they operate, whether maybe they won't be able to have infinite scroll anymore, or maybe it'll be much harder for young people to access these platforms. And by the way, Meta's the only remaining defendant on this trial, but originally there was Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube, and they had settled, but there's still many open cases against those other ones. And I think if there was a big judgment against Meta, we're going to see big actions against those other 3 as well.
Vincent, do you think that this case could change the economics of the social media business?
Absolutely. If anyone pulls up Meta's stock over the past week, it's down close to 10%. I think the market's seen this as a huge response. And something to keep in mind is Meta is fighting 2 big battles. One with potentially $1.4 trillion in liability in court, but the other in the court of public opinion. And this is going to be all over the news for the next several weeks. And I think a lot of adults are going to watch this and say, well, maybe Meta knows some dangerous things about this, and maybe I don't want to use this. But more importantly, they're going to say, maybe I don't want my children to be using these apps.